Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, and this is your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today we're here live at the World Trade Center in Seattle. We've got some amazing guests here. We're going to be talking about marijuana media, starting with Garrett Rudolph of Marijuana Venture. Garrett is the Editor-in-Chiet of Marijuana Venture, a leading business magazine for the legal cannabis industry and host of the Retail and Dispensary Expo. Marijuana Venture was the first monthly magazine focused on the legal cannabis industry, and the company now has published 80 print magazines since its inception. In 2015, it was named one of the 30 hottest launches out of more than 800 new titles across the country. Prior to launching Marijuana Venture, Garrett was the editor of a twice-weekly newspaper in Eastern Washington. After announcing in a column he was leaving the newspaper, Seattle area businessman Greg James contacted him about pick and shovel opportunities within Washington's newly regulated marijuana industry. Together, they started Marijuana Venture with the idea of targeting business owners, managers, and investors in the emerging recreational cannabis market. The publication began as an 8-page black and white newsletter that quickly gained acclaim among Washington's business hopefuls and eventually grew into an award-winning national distributed 164-page glossy magazine. The company has since expanded into the event sector with Interchange, a twice-yearly buying and selling event for Washington businesses, and the Retail and Dispensary Expo, an annual trade show specifically for cannabis business retailers. Garrett, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
And then remotely, we have Dave Rheins. Dave is the founder of the Marijuana Business Association. The MJBA is a leading business organization in the fastest growing industry in America. The MJBA provides business intelligence, professional networking, and commercial opportunity for participants in the legal cannabis industry. Founded in 2012, Seattle-based MJBA hosts many cannabis industry trade shows, professional education seminars and workshops, and publishes the most popular MJ headline news on Facebook, mjnewsnetwork.com, Marijuana Green Pages, and Marijuana Channel 1 on YouTube. Dave is a frequent speaker and moderator at Seattle Hempfest, CannaCon shows, Collaborative Conference, Cannabis World Congress, and Business Expo, and a regular columnist for Freedom Leaf magazine. He's a proven business leader with 30 years of experience building and operating best-of-breed media and marketing organizations. Dave has an impressive track record as a senior executive for Rolling Stone, Spin, iVillage, Corbis, Time Warner, and America Online. Dave, thanks for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Bess Byers is with us with Blaise Creative. Bess is a Seattle-based cannabis photographer and digital marketing professional. Bess graduated from Washington State University with a BA in public relations, moved to Beijing to intern at a graphic design agency before moving to LA to work in marketing research. All that changed in March of 2015 when she received a job offer from Western Cultured, a legal cannabis cultivation company. She slowly transitioned from working in the garden to a sales role and then social media and marketing. By January 2016, Bess joined Grassworks Digital before starting her own company, Blaise Creative, in January 2018, providing content creation, social media management, and other digital marketing services. And independent employment has allowed Bess to pursue her passions, including writing, photography, brand development, influencer outreach, and politics. Bess, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And also remotely with us is Cy Williams of Hi Canada. Cy is the editor and publisher for the long-standing Canadian cannabis culture publication, Hi Canada Magazine, as well as the recently launched Hi Europe Magazine. A staple within the Canadian cannabis community for the last several years, Hi Canada comes out monthly and serves its community by informing and educating Canadians on all things cannabis in both Canada and internationally. Cy, thank you for being here. And Sharon Whitson of Hempfest. Sharon is the Chief Operating Officer of Seattle Hempfest, joining the organization in 2004. She loves saying that a PTSA soccer mom runs Hempfest, as family is a huge focus in her life. Sharon quickly found that her project and business management background could be leveraged to help Hempfest evolve and was attracted by the passionate environment Hempfest creates. In 2012, she founded Hempfest Central, the organization's first office fronted by Hemp Culture, 420 Culture Store. As the 28th annual Hempfest approaches, she looks back on the 28 years of hardcore activism that laid the groundwork for legalization to blossom with great pride and determination. She said, quote, "We've come a long way, we still have a long way to go." And when she's not at Hempfest leading the charge towards Hempfest, she's loving camping, hiking, and spending time on the river with her family. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And about the World Trade Center, we are at the World Trade Center in Seattle. There's several of these. It's one of the largest business networks in the world with 300 offices in 99 countries, and the World Trade Center in Tacoma is the lone trade center service for the Pacific Northwest. They offer trade shows and investments and providing direct access to a large business network. They have seminars, award ceremonies, and conferences that can generate contacts and contracts. Their trade research can clarify opportunities, and their matchmaking can turn those opportunities into trade. The one thing I like about it is their e-commerce store. They partner with Alibaba. It's translated to 18 languages and offers products like CBD, at least for now, to get into hard-to-reach spots like Europe and Asia. They also have good spots for business banking. So if you need an international letter of credit or bank guarantee, World Trade Center is your spot. So this is going to dive kind of into the meat and potatoes of today's podcast about the difficulties of trying to advertise. So I'm going to start with Sharon and kind of ask you what advice you have for companies in emerging markets and how to survive a volatile industry. Because what after seems to be a brief hiatus, social media giants are once again suspending and outright deleting accounts for cannabis companies. Some industry officials say that this is a result of spiteful competitors flagging posts and reporting pages to the platform's moderators, costing businesses thousands of dollars in lost time and labor when pages are taken down. And despite the cannabis industry's rapid growth and steadily eroding the stigma against cannabis use in mainstream circles, the social media platforms with the most users, Facebook and Facebook on Instagram in particular, have proved inconsistent about their official policies surrounding cannabis business pages. So this leaves cannabis companies wondering how to best follow the rules to avoid seeing their social media accounts shut down or frozen. And just last fall, MarketWatch reported that Facebook would stop blocking cannabis-related searches as it had previously done for legitimate businesses with the words cannabis or marijuana in the name. However, just a month later, Facebook and Instagram accounts were reportedly deactivated, as I'm sure Bess can tell us about in a moment. And so I'm wondering to the group how you've overcome this, starting with Sharon. What advice do you have for companies in emerging markets on how to survive a volatile industry?
Talk to your federal legislators. Come on, guys. This is only happening to us because of federal prohibition. And again, we're not in legalization. We're in a regulated market where they could change the rules every day if they want to. And hey, the Washington State LCB might actually be doing that. So again, it's get active politically and push your federal legislators. I'm sorry, Washington State federal legislators are not supporting legalization for our state the way they should. And I will call them all out on it, and everybody else should be doing the same thing. We need to just keep pushing and not stop. And we need to tell them, hey, you're making tax money off of all this. I'm a Washington State voter. We overwhelmingly supported this. Why aren't you supporting it? And that's what we all need to do. We need to get fired up.
Garrett, do you have some advice for companies in emerging markets on how to survive a volatile industry?
I guess I would kind of piggyback a little bit on what Bess was saying. You see a lot of these numbers. You see companies that talk about revenue numbers and breaking sales records and all those kinds of things. A lot of times you don't really see the costs that go into creating that sales, record-breaking sales month or whatever it might be. The truth is that a lot of these companies are struggling to make profits. They are surviving on venture capital, or they're surviving on, the backs of owner-operators that are really working their asses off. And, when you mentioned the fact that people are, some headlines that are saying people are paid more in cannabis, and I tend to agree that there's kind of a lot of hype in that, and I kind of have a tendency to question some of the sources or some of the the reasonings behind those headlines. But ultimately, I think that when you look at these companies that are either struggling to survive, they're not nearly as profitable as they're projecting themselves to be. I think a lot of it is some of this idea that people are not paying as much attention to their bottom lines or their profitability as they probably should be. They projected, I remember when Washington's market first opened up and, people were saying, oh, wholesale prices are never going to fall below, $6 a gram. Well, they're never going to fall below $5 a gram. Well, they're never going to fall below $4 a gram. A lot of these businesses never planned for the moment where prices would fall, $4 a gram, $3 a gram, maybe lower than that. They were never prepared for that. And, I think that kind of in any other industry, you don't get kind of caught up in that hype of as things are moving forward the way you do in this industry. And so I would just look at it as, whatever you think something's going to cost, it's probably going to cost you double. Whatever the price you think you're going to get, you're probably going to get half of that. However long something's going to take, you think something's going to take 3 months to get permitted, it's probably going to take 6 months. We've talked so many times with companies in the past that say, we're going to have this greenhouse facility up and running in 6 months. Well, yeah, if you were growing tomatoes, you're probably right. You probably have it running, you probably have your first harvest within 6 months. When it's cannabis and you've got to go through local permitting and, however many zoning laws and however many, planning departments and city, state, county regulations, 6 months is oftentimes impossible to, an impossible time frame to meet. So everything takes longer, everything costs more, and, you have to kind of plan for that.
Yeah, I was just going to jump in and say, I'm an older guy. I'm going to suggest that what we're seeing in this boom market is not unique. It's a pretty typical race to sustainability. And so in early stage developing emerging markets, you oftentimes, like in gardening, you throw lots of seeds out to see which ones sprout, and then you winnow from there. So what we're seeing is a natural phase in first generation markets where these companies are publicly funded or VC funded with enormous amounts of money to do land grab, to own and stake down marketplaces which do not yet exist, to create loyalties and brand differentiation in consumers that are not yet brand dedicated. And so that spend is absolutely necessary. And so these companies will either spend and differentiate or spend and go out of business or be acquired. And that's normally what happens, is you're going to see a tremendous consolidation. In fact, you've already seen it and will continue to see it. And so these companies are spending not for profit, but for differentiation.
Yeah, and I would add to that, there'll be forced consolidation or capitulation for those that don't want to merge. But Bess, let's dive into the 9 times that have you been deleted more than that since the last time
I've been reactivated 9 times. So yeah, I was deactivated and reactivated 9 times last year. I believe it was between August and then I came back maybe the first week of January. And every single time I never got a response from Instagram about why my account was taken down. There were times where my account would come back. For example, it was Apple Cup weekend. So that's a big football event in Washington State. I was out at the bar with friends, standing alone at the bar. What do? You get on your phone and you check your email so you don't look like a loser standing at the bar alone. And I'd gotten an email that my Instagram had been reactivated. I didn't even log into Instagram. I just took a shot and was like, yes, my account's back. I'm going to go have fun. I'll deal with this later. And I got home maybe 3 hours later and my account had been taken down again. So I don't know if somebody had put a bot on my account to report it or what the issue was. But it was very stressful. I had probably a few $1,000s in sponsored content campaigns that was kind of frozen because the clients had signed contracts and agreed to advertise on a certain channel. I shot the content. I was halfway through the campaigns. And so it was really, really stressful. When my account came back, I did get my followers back because it was the same account. I was able to get the same handle reactivated. But what was interesting is when my account would come back, I would obviously, I'd see a shift or a decrease in followers. And then because I have certain analytical tools that I can go through and see, follows, unfollows, that kind of thing, I was able to see how many other cannabis accounts that I followed and that followed me that had also been deactivated during that time. And they were purging hundreds of accounts. And I genuinely feel like the reason that I got my account back, because I've had brands email me. They're like, how did you get your page back? Do you know somebody? I don't know anybody. Nobody helped me. I was filing business and personal appeals through their website 30, 40, 50, 60 times a day, all day. I was savage. I had this like huge paragraph that was just saved, and I would copy, paste, submit until they would say, oh, there's an error. You've submitted too many forms. So I would wait a little bit. And then when I still hadn't heard back, then I started emailing Instagram's press department. And I was emailing them the same letter plus maybe 15 examples of myself in the news, demanding answers. Why is my page being taken down, but yet Shop Medmen, you are not only promoting shopping at your store, you're also getting approved for sponsored content and paid influencer campaigns. So no one ever answered me, but my account is back. And
so, I mean, you're into politics, you're into cannabis, and so it kind of goes hand in hand with the passion that you just naturally have.
Yeah.
Do you have a template? Is this a service that you're providing? It seems like a consulting opportunity.
It's actually on my website. If you go to my, imcannabis.com/blog and you type in Instagram deleted or cannabis Instagram deleted, actually the way that I set up my SEO, that's become my most read blog because so many people, not even cannabis people, their accounts are being deleted for whatever it is that they might be a gray area for the, Instagram's terms of service. People are asking me, how do I get my account back? And I've detailed the whole thing. And that's just what I would say is you have to be assertive, aggressive, you be persistent, don't give up.
Yeah. Check the show notes for that link for Bess's template, how to do that. So with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. I want to thank my guests. We have Garrett with Marijuana Venture. He's the editor-in-chief there at Marijuana Venture magazine. I also want to thank Bess Byers. Bess is with Blaise Creative. We also have right here Sharon. Sharon is with Hempfest. Day one starts on Friday, so congratulations on 28 years.
Mm-hmm. Yay.
On the line with us remotely is Dave Rheins with MJBA, the Marijuana Business Association. I want to thank you for being on the show with us today, Dave.
Thanks for having me.
And of course, Cy Williams with High Canada Magazine and High Europe Magazine. Congratulations on the expansion, and thanks again for being with us.
It was an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. And I'm out.
Yay! Thank you.